Hi, I'm here with Jason Palmer, and he is an amazing artist, as we can see here at Fan Expo. And what I want to talk to you today is about your Star Wars art.
Sure.
So, of course, you did the amazing mural at Celebration Chicago.
Yeah, here in Chicago 6 years ago.
Yes, in 2019. We were all really excited to see that mural. And so I wanted to ask you about that. I understand that you were directed by Doug Chang to do the...
Doug Chang was my contact. Yes.
Yes, and you were given a short amount of time to do this.
Very short.
So was that, how was that challenging?
Well, they had a whole other idea about, they already had a design and they were just going to chop it into pieces and have different artists work on it. And I countered with that. I said, I think it should look like one artist. And I said, if anything, I will subcontract little parts of it to artists that I know that I can be the art director to them. Mm-hmm. It didn't really work though. I wound up having to do everything. The only difference, your own Chicago Alex Ross is an old friend of mine. Mm-hmm. He's makes Chicago proud. He's
another, yes.
Yes,
I love Alex Ross.
And Alex and I go back to the early 90s. We both did work for a small company called Now. Anyway,
I used to read Now.
So, yes. So, he did covers for Terminator. I did Speed Racer and Green Hornet and stuff like that. Anyway, I was blown away by the work he did too, of course. Anyway, but we happened to be talking and he says, and I just said, I am awake every single hour of every day trying to get this big mural done. And he's like, anything I can do? And I say, could you just give me some cleanup on this right over here, this design. Now I did the design and I did the pose. Alex cleaned that up. So that's a little bit of Alex Ross right there on Ahsoka. Everything else and then I rendered the whole thing. But it was fun to have a friend kind of lend a hand. I remember I was going the next few days, and then when I was off going to the show, Alex called me and he says, "Well, did you make it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine."
You went radio silent on him, so he's a little worried. Huh?
No, yeah, I was working around the clock, so every minute counted. I'd love to be able to come back to it. We actually, Doug and I spoke at the last Celebration in Japan, and might be doing something else. So we'll see.
We would be really excited to see it. Everyone loves this artwork. I saw you had a giant version of this because you sell this on your website, correct? Yes.
Oh no, not
on your website.
We don't have that. We sell them at certain locations. We've had sales for it, but right now they're not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, we'll have to follow you. So where should we follow you on social media to know if there are sales online for it?
Jason Palmer Art on Instagram. Yeah, that's how you'll know. So pretty much, I should expand. I've thought of doing a YouTube channel, something like that. It's just the time of putting it together. But enough of my friends have been all bugging me to do that.
So is that one of the challenges of being an artist, is also having to take care of the business side of it as well?
Yeah, and my wife, I couldn't do it without my wife. My wife's the brains, so she comes up with a lot of things. Like for instance, when I did that, when they gave me that, back when we decided on what we were going to do as far as the mural, he basically said, "Okay, I'm handing the project to you. You'll check in with me, but it's you. Right? You're the boots on the ground. You're going to get it done. You're going to design it, the whole thing." And he said, "How long would you want?" I said, 6 months would be ideal. And he said, "I want it in 6 weeks." And I wanted it being 7, but that was every waking hour.
A very tight deadline.
I couldn't stop to sit down and have like a proper meal. It was just, I never watched TV, or it was just go the whole time. So it was an interesting challenge and very rewarding when I saw it. But My wife had to do everything else.
So props to her, of course. And,
Oh, I could never have done it without her help.
and so you have a bunch of other Star Wars pieces. What do you have a favorite? Is it possible to have a favorite when you're talking about your own pieces?
I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess I do have certain favorites. For me, favorites, it's not necessarily what came out. It's like when I've had some kind of a breakthrough. Oh, I couldn't do that before. You know, I leveled up on that one. I feel like there's this Superman piece. There was an early one I did about 15 years ago, and I remembered I stopped trying to be so rational, and I started trusting my gut a little more. And I remember feeling really good about that. So I have an associative goodwill feeling about that.
So is that your newest piece?
No, that was an earlier version of it, and then I did it again, and I couldn't have done that before. So it's nice when you see progress and you see something you couldn't have done before. This Superman piece, I just did it. I started thinking about how with Superman, in my opinion at least, some people take issue with this, but I think every actor who's taken on the role of Superman has explored a different facet to the character. So much of the lore has all been it's an amalgam, not just in the comic books. You know, as I recall, Kryptonite, the concept of Kryptonite came up in the radio show. Crypto came from here, and Daily Planet from there. Different powers developed over the years. Well, red Kryptonite means this. Red Sun does that. Everything it's all an amalgam. But those actors have all played things like Tom Welling played the farm boy, and Tyler played the family man, and Henry Cavill played it like a demigod. So you get these different aspects.
Yes.
Whereas Corn Sweat, who I is actually my favorite. He's my new favorite. I think he did an amazing job. But he and Gunn set out, they said he should be huggable. And I like that he's a more approachable character who has such empathy. And so that informs the design, the poses. So I start with, what did they bring to the role? And so if you look at Corn Sweat's pose, it's very simple, but I want him to look ready. So he's like this. Not like this, not like that. He's ready. And that's how I want him to look. Cavill looks godlike by rising up. And so everything should mean something. I have the blessing of learning from one of the greatest illustrators, Drew Struzan.
Yes.
And he would always say, don't just show it, explain it. What's the story? Okay, now, how many ways can you show that? And it always surprised me how much he was putting in that we're not aware of, but it's affecting you. So, how you doing? This is so cute.
Little Princess interrupt.
Color, just the nature of your rendering. Is it frenetic or is it smooth? Are you using smooth strokes or are you using a lot of line work? That all says something. If you know where you're going, that will inform every layer of it. If I'm not getting too far in the weeds.
No, this is great. And because for those that don't know, you had a mentorship with Drew.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I was always fascinated by the work of his that I would see, and then it kind of reached an ultimate height when I went to see Back to the Future opening night. I remember they had a big, huge poster of that famous, and I started realizing, he's problem solving. That was a solution to how does he do this and this? So he did it this way. I started realizing I started seeing the method behind it. And so I was lucky enough about a year later to meet him. I went up to his house I remember being quite overwhelmed because as I was walking to his house, I looked through the window and there he was working. And that original painting of Back to the Future is right next to him. That was even before the sequels came out. So later I got to see him work on Back to the Future 2 and see how that changed. And I saw how he was dealing with the studios and how he was solving certain problems. And he always taught me, he never said, do it like this. He'd always give me the philosophy of how do people see things? How do we interpret things? He could liken it to social situations, to music. I remember there was a piece I showed him, and I kind of got carried away with one of the elements, and I kind of overworked it. Mm-hmm. And right away, he looked at it and goes, well, what's this for? Why'd you do that? And I said, well, I thought it looked really good. He goes, it does, but does it help the overall piece? I said, I guess it doesn't. All right, you got to think about what helps the overall piece. You say, you can make up any rules you want, but you got to stick to your own rules. Once you've said something, it should be consistent with that. So, yeah, so much I'm so lucky to have learned from him. And then the challenge was I didn't want to become I didn't want to ape what he did.
He had such an influence on you, but you wanted to be your own artist, right?
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. We were having lunch, and I told him that. I said, it's my greatest blessing is learning from you, but also there's a certain burden with it because I don't want to copy you, but I don't want to be different from you just for the sake of being different from you. I always feel like I need to live up to, if I've learned from you, I better be of a certain quality. So and he never realized that. It never occurred to him that those are things he was kind of stunned by that. He goes, I never thought about that before. So, not just in art, but he means a lot to me, he and his wife. And my life would be nothing like it is without it. They gave me wisdom, they gave me empathy and care, and never asked for anything. They were just there for me, like family. So, yeah, I love them very much.
It's Superman again, right? Kindness is punk rock, right?
Yeah, that's why this new movie became my favorite, because it just I already love James Gunn's work. My favorite, in fact, I never thought I was going to love movies the way I did when I was a kid. Because as a kid, I loved Raiders, The Lost Ark, Aliens, Jaws, the Star Wars movies, the Indiana Jones movies. I thought, well, I'm never going to love anything like that. I'm never going to love anything like Back to the Future. Because I was young then, and so it has a certain place in my heart. I'm never going to love anything like that. And then Guardians came out, and it got me the way those movies. And I was like, I felt like a kid again. I adored this movie like I did any of those other ones. And so I feel that way about the Superman movie as well. Because he puts a lot of heart into it. He thinks things through. He doesn't say good enough. He keeps going with it. I was talking with the director and writer Mike Flanagan about a year ago. And Mike Flanagan takes on jobs that you think that's impossible to adapt that or to tell this story. He takes on these like incredible challenges. And so I commented that on it with him, and I said, I think you and I are alike. Why do things easy? And then he finished by saying, when you can do it hard. Hard is better. Hard will make you grow. Hard will make you come up with solutions you never would have otherwise. So I was like, yes.
So we mentioned your Instagram. Is there anything that you have coming up that you want to let people know about?
Actually, no. Anything that you see on Instagram is where you'll first see it. Like I say, I'll if I stretch out to something else, I'll announce it there.
Are there any shows you have upcoming after this one?
I'll be at SpaceCon in San Antonio, probably at Salt Lake, and New York Comic Con. So there's a few others I was interested in, but
There's always next year.
there's only so many you could, because sometimes I realize, oh, this year's gone of what? How much art did I create this year? And I'm like, that's not nearly enough.
That's that push and pull of the business side versus like coming out here to sell and then
Exactly.
and actually creating new art. Right?
Plus, like for instance, here I'll show you something here. I had been thinking for this show, oh, John Cena is going to be here. I should do a John Cena piece, but there's all the other things to do to get ready for a show.
Mm-hmm.
So every couple minutes, I find a few minutes here and there to work on, and
Peacemaker.
But this is
I get a secret preview.
This is 3 or 4 hours. I haven't posted this anywhere, but you get the eaglies up there.
Yes, I can see.
But that's halfway done. So that's the pencil stage. I've rubbed it in tones and colors, but then you got to get into like these highlights and background and all that kind of stuff. But I start pushing myself to where I'm skipping sleep and whatnot. It's just not healthy.
You have to find that balance, right? And that can be a challenge sometimes.
Yeah, in fact, I was supposed to be at a show last week and I was grounded because I was having issues with my eye. My doctor just says, you got to stop skipping sleep. Because I almost skip a night's sleep almost every week. And she's like, you just can't do that. You've got to get a more normal schedule. So I have
speaking as a fan, I want to keep seeing you produce art for a long time. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for the time.
No, thank you for the time.